Yo guys, welcome back. Today I'm dropping my 4-5-1 tactics, and this setup officially dragged me in to play 4-5-1 again. And you might ask yourself why. Simple. I watched Emre Yilmaz absolutely cook up opponents in the first week of the FC Pro Open group stages. Even in the group of death, he managed to win 5 out of 5 games, scoring 39 goals in 5 games against the best pro players in the world. So I decided, okay, let's try out 4-5-1, and all I can say, these tactics, roles, whatever you want to call them, they are simply amazing. Let's break it all down. Let's go. So obviously in this video I will be showing you guys the roles, the tactics, the formation, whatever, but also more importantly I will actually show you guys how I play with the 4-5-1 now after I decided to switch a few of the tactics up. So first of all, in the 4-5-1, as we always talk about, you need quick wingers, and this is on my Road to Zlatan account, and this was the team that I played in the Gauntlet, so I wouldn't advise you guys to go with the likes of Saka and Rolfe. I think they might be a bit too slow. If you watched one of my videos where I posted the 3 best players in every position, you will see different kind of alternatives, but a good alternative here on the left would be Salma Paraleo, very fast. A good alternative on the right will be Nico Williams, very fast in behind, and that's the key thing with the wingers this year. You need them to be able to be very fast if you want to play the 4-5-1 formation. 4-5-1 as well is obviously going to be the formation as Emre Yilmaz played, and he played one player that was going to be the more attacking midfielder. In my case, this is going to be Putellas. I decided I want to go forward with Putellas. She has good playstyles, and the most important thing for your midfielders is that they manage to have incisive and tiki-taka, and Putellas definitely has that, which means she can perform first time through balls with ease with these two play styles, combining them together. As the middle one, you want that one to be a bit more defensive, so I decided to go for Tonali. Doesn't really have a lot of good play styles, but as I said, this is not really a key player that I would play with if I play competitions. I would usually try to play with someone like De Jong, maybe, or even Busquets if you completed his SPC. For the right one, or Emre decided to go for box to box, and here you want someone that can do both. I think this Ivo Bergvall is actually suited for this position pretty well, even though I think the best alternative is probably Reinders Gold, because he has finesse shot gold. He is very, very good in defense, but also very, very good at going forward, so he would be perfect there, and he also obviously has tiki-taka and incisive. For the fullbacks, you want them to be quick and agile. Here again, I play Aitnouri and Reece James. You have better alternative here whatsoever. I think you guys know what players I'm talking about. Center back just need to be quick in general and good in defense, which I think we do here with Guardiola and Van Dijk. And obviously, if you really want to master this formation, I think you need a striker with incisive and tiki-taka, so you can play for the first time through balls or in general through balls down the wing, or plays that being triggered in the middle. And that's why I decided to go for the new Dema flashback SPC, because she managed to have some really, really good playstyles. Kind of a Pina, even though I think Claudia Pina is better. Also incisive and tiki-taka, and also technical. So overall, this is going to be the team. Now let's jump into the tactics, and after that we will go into a few clips that I will be explaining how you master the 4-5-1 formation right now with these tactics that I actually copied from Emre Yilmaz himself. So build-up style will be on balance, defensive approach will be on high. And I always like to play high. I know Emre switches between high and balance sometimes, but build-up style will be balanced, of course. If we go into the keeper, first of all, most important thing for me here is that you play the ++ one. I don't really like to play ball-playing keeper, so I'd rather play someone that has sweeper keeper then, so that's why Alisson will be on that. Fullback will be on balanced. I'm not really sure what Emre used here, but I think he is either using balance or defend. I like fullback with balance, basically because when I get the ball, on balance they are a bit more wide, so it's easier for me to play myself out of the press that's coming right after I win the ball. So that's why I have them on fullback balance. They are a bit more wide, easier to find basically off when I get the ball or when I win the ball. Defenders will be on defender, quite easy. I think that's the best role in this year's game. Left mid, right mid will be both on inside forward. The left CM will be on playmaker, as I told you guys about attack. Tonali will be on deep line playmaker build up in the middle. Bergvall will be on box to box balanced, and Midema will be on advanced forward. So it's kind of the same tactics as I used before, but back then I was using I used to switch these two. So I was playing Bergvall as a central center midfielder as a box to box, and then Tonali as a deep line playmaker build up on the right. But Emre now decided to go with deep line playmaker in the middle and box to box on the left CM. And if you want to copy the tactics, they are up there above or just under default tactics, as I said, at the top left of your screen. If you want to copy them, feel free and let me know what you think about them. Now we jump into a few clips how you played this 4-5-1 formation with these kind of roles. So the key in the 4-5-1 in general is to try to send as many runners as you can forward as possible, to be able to have these kind of triggers and to be able to, as I said at the beginning now, just have all different players running, so it causes chaos for the opponent to be able to go forward. And why is 4-5-1 so good, first of all? It's kind of a 4-3-2-1 from back in the days. So if you know a lot of competitive FIFA 22, FIFA 23, FC 24, we had a formation that was called 4-3-2-1. Still in the game, but then we had left forward and right forward. And it's kind of the same thing with the 4-5-1. That's why the 4-5-1 is so good, because used to back in the days, 4-3-2-1 was very, very good with build-up. And that's why I think 4-5-1 is pretty easy with build-up, because you have so many options to be able to find. So the thing is here, you see I send Zico, and I don't send Zico mainly because I want to post him. I want him to basically run in behind to push down the opponent's defense, because once a player runs in behind, that's going to push the opponent's defense down, because the AI will track that runner. That means it will open up space between the midfield and the center backs, and that's kind of the space we want to look for, because once we break that line through the opponent's midfield, that's the money spot, and that's when we feel like, okay, now we can actually go forward and try to score. So De Jong gets the ball here, you see. Jafonso is doing offside traps, obviously, to push up the team, so that space between the midfield and the center backs are just decreasing, because he wants it to be very, very compact. So I find my Reinders here, and as I said before, all my center midfielders here have a very, very good passing playstyles. And in this kind of clip as well, Zico is on the right-hand side, because I used to actually play Zico as a playmaker on the right side, as a playmaker on the right central center midfielder. Then I had deep line playmaker build up on the middle one and box to box on the left CM. But it just depends on what kind of side you want to play on at the moment. Emre played it on the left. I like to play it on the right. So it's just whatever you guys like. So here again, I have basically broke the line between the midfield and the center mids. As you see here, he doesn't really have any center midfield that he can track back with. So he decides to go with Van Dijk. And from here, it's quite important that I either trigger Mbappé or do a play lock so we can get in behind here. So do a play lock in between his Valverde and Chiellini. Once I get into this position, the only thing I could do is to either pass Pina or go for a first post shot, which I do with the Trivela. Scores to make it 2-2 in this game. And this is against Jafonso, one of the best players to ever play the game. And I mean, if it works against him, why wouldn't it work in champs, rivals, whatever? Very, very good goal. Now jumping into clip number 2. And clip number 2 will actually consist of us starting our own half and how I try to trigger as many runs as I can to bait the opponent into try to either covering the run, which means that I will get space because then he needs to cover the run and I can just take space forward and progress up the pitch. Or he tries to go on me. That's when I need to just bait the tackle, either turn away, and then I will have runners that I could play through balls with in behind, because I have De Jong, Reinders and Zico. All of them manage to have incisive in white, which is perfect. And even if I want to find Peanut, she also manages to have incisive white, so I can play these through balls in behind and try to basically score on my opponent. So once again here, you see, Mbappé is having his arm forward, he's running in behind. He's going very aggressively on me here with Valverde. So the thing I could do, I could pass this back to Reinders, then try to play for a through ball. Or I could break the line between his midfield and his fullback with Pina, and then play a through ball out to Mbappé on the wing. So as you see here, he realizes and reads the danger with Mbappé running in behind. That's why he's trying to cover this space with Valverde, which means that this buys time and space for myself to be able to do whatever I want to. So from here, he needs to cover Mbappé. Okay, I bought time and space for myself. This is where I can progressively go forward. The thing that you guys didn't see here is that I basically sent Mbappé with that one, but then I flicked the right stick downwards for him to make a creative run into the pocket of space that's in behind Van Dijk. And yes, I can't play this pass yet to Mbappé. Now when I see he's trying to be aggressive with Van Dijk, that's when I'm turning away. And Mbappé has an open lane here. He basically dragged back Valverde before to cover off the run, which means that now Valverde is very deep down, which means that he is basically the last man and is obviously the guy who's causing Mbappé to be onside here. I play a normal through ball pass, very, very perfect, right into Mbappé feet, mainly because of the incisive pass. Mbappé here wants to get into this kind of opportunities. Either I go for the first time post shot with a Trivela, but I felt here finesse around the keeper was the best way, and I scored to make it 3-2 in this game by just triggering a lot of runs, but also making the opponent second guess what he needs to do in defense to be able to defend the counter-attack that's coming with the 4-5-1 players being triggered as much as it possibly can. Also, I obviously would say 4-5-1 is a very, very good formation in terms of attack, but it's also a very, very decent formation in terms of defense, because you have these three kind of flat center midfielders that will basically put themselves into good spots to be able to defend for you. So once he breaks my line here, the only objective I have here with De Jong is to try to cover off the striker, because a lot of times in this year's game, especially at a pro level, opponents try to bounce off to try to play Pina and then have runners in behind, basically. So, for example, here, if my opponents were to find Pina, I can't really be aggressive on Pina, because if I'm being aggressive, they can play the through ball to either Reinders, Bonmati, Xavi, whatever. And if I miss, it's GG's. Then, obviously, it's very, very hard to basically defend when I miss attack with a center back. But the thing I'm doing here, I'm just trying to make it as compact as possible. And this is the 4-5-1 formation with 70 depth. Auto side traps now when he comes back. And look how basically he doesn't have any space. I mean, now Bonmati is offside. Pina you can't find because De Jong is in a very good spot. If he plays Reinders, fair, Zico is there. Llorente is marking Mbappé perfectly. If you see at the upside of your screen, we have Mbappé covering off Rodman. And this is basically how the 4-5-1 looks. Once again, he plays Reinders, plays it back. But look how good in position my midfield is. Yes, he could maybe play Pina through this line, but I would still think Reinders would get a leg out and intercept the ball, which will happen here. He tries to find his striker. I managed to start my attack right from here. You see me sending Reinders, the first thing I do, passing it to Pina, then bouncing back to Reinders. And once I get this pass to Reinders, this is where I have space and time on the ball, because I broke the opponent's midfield. If he's being aggressive with a center back, that's a very, very big risk to take, because if he misses, yeah, we have holes in the opponent's defense that we can exploit with the through balls. So once again here, I decide to send Mbappé running. He steps out with very heavily with Van Dijk, which means that I have a pretty clear-cut pass open. Once again here, he is one-on-one with Chiellini versus Pina, and I don't really feel like I want to get close to Chiellini because he will just bully me with that bruiser gold. So I take the ball away from Chiellini and I send Zico, as he has his own forward, means that he's being triggered going in behind. I pass Zico into the pocket of space that Chiellini left now, because he was very, very close to Pina. With a double tap, I managed to find Zico, and from here we have the goal finesse shot playstyle that we will be able to score the goal with to make it 4-2 in this game. Overall, a great goal, great finish, and yeah, basically a bit on how you play the 4-5-1 with the transitions from defense into attack can go very, very quick. If you have a lot of runners being made, as you just saw in the background, it's very, very hard to defend with any formation. Whatever, if you face the 4-5-1 and you know what you need to do in attack. And this is going to be the important thing of why you need to trigger your center midfielders as well in the 4-5-1, as also your wingers. But triggering a center midfielder in this year's game, even at an average level, I think is very, very good to push off the defense. So as you see here, I trigger Zico. He has his own forward, he's running in behind. I break the line through the opponent's midfield, which is the key, because once we get the ball to Pina, he either needs to be aggressive, as I said before, which can lead to, you know, holes being opened up in the defense if he misses tackles. If he's not being aggressive, which is a safe option, then he's just trying to back off, he can't really go on me, which means that I will have space and time to be able to progressively move forward. As you see here, still Zico is running. The thing is, I have incisive and tiki-taka with all my center midfielders and with Pina, so he can't really do anything. I'm doing a play lock here, but I also send Zico on a run, right? And Zico is going to make that straight run in behind, in between the opponent's defense now. Once he breaks the line, he's bringing his keeper out, I chip him, and that's going to make it 5-2. And that's what an early trigger can do. So if we look back at this clip, I think this defense was pretty good with Marquinhos. I send already Zico at the half of my own half, basically. He's just running in behind. Just look at Zico. That's only from a L1 trigger. And he gets into a very good spot, obviously. Steps out with Chiellini. And when I get into these kind of spots, it's just about finessing or making the right decision, which I definitely think I did with a 4-5-1. And yeah, I managed to score from it. And that's the full breakdown of my new 4-5-1 tactics that are working wonders for me in Weekend League Rivals, but also pro gameplay, actually. Big shout out to Emre Yilmaz for these tactics. They are very, very good. And obviously, I mean, he's one of the best pro players in the world, if not the best. So it makes sense that it works for him. But just a quick notice. Even if you copy these tactics, doesn't mean that you would play like these kind of pro players. You need to master the 4-5-1. So let it take time. If you're struggling with these tactics at the beginning, it's not weird. It will take time to master it. But once you become comfortable with it, that's when you can start to cook opponents with this formation and these tactics. Give it a try. Let me know how it works down in the comments. I would appreciate that. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. I would appreciate that a lot. And turn on notifications so you're not missing the upcoming videos on the channel. Thank you so much for watching today. Love you all. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching today, boys. Peace.